Breaking today, the final traces of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from the British royal family are being erased. And this is far more significant than just the destruction of their former home. So, the couple's £2.4 million renovations, you'll remember how controversial these were on Frogmore Cottage within the Windsor estate.
Charles has made it very clear that he wants Harry back. You know, we saw it in Harry's book, Don't Make My Life a Misery, but Don't Make My Final Years a Misery, boys. Charles's dearest wish is to be reconciled with his son.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are being erased from the history of Frogmore Cottage. It seems, as it's been revealed through The Sun, that assessments are being made of the property to see if it can be split yet again into either multiple residences, and basically to erase every single trace of Harry and Meghan on the property.
A huge blow up, a big fight around Harry's plans for summer return to the UK, including spending time at Balmoral, potentially, and reconnecting with the king.
No matter how much they try to portray themselves as pseudo-royals, and I think you can see quite clearly on the part of the Duke of Sussex an attempt to try to open up an avenue to return to the fold. As I like to say, he really only knows how to be a prince, a soldier and a polo player, none of which are very useful when you live in California. And that's why you're seeing increasingly these attempts to try to ape the royals and go on these trips to Australia and elsewhere, and basically try to remind the royal family.
Remember the Freedom Flight? Back in 2020, those two words became a symbol of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's dramatic departure from royal life. They were leaving behind palace rules, media scrutiny, and the expectations that came with being senior members of the royal family. At the time, it looked like a fresh start. But 6 years later, the picture looks very different. Because right now, one of the last physical reminders of Harry and Meghan's royal chapter is at the center of renewed attention, Frogmore Cottage.
Remember Frogmore Cottage, which they renovated at vast expense to British taxpayers before being shamed into paying back the money. Well, all of those renovations are to be bulldozed. And this is very symbolic. King Charles is conceding here that Prince William is right about the fact that the Sussexes simply can never return to the United Kingdom in any form, can never have any royal role again. Their home, the place that they wanted to keep as some sort of base in the United Kingdom paid for by us, is going to go back to being multiple cottages because simply it is not fit for them to return.
And according to reports, the property is undergoing significant changes that many royal watchers see as highly symbolic. The message, whether intentional or not, seems hard to ignore. The Sussex era at Frogmore is over. So what exactly is happening? Frogmore Cottage became Harry and Meghan's official UK residence shortly after their wedding. The couple reportedly spent around £2.4 million renovating the property, adding modern upgrades and making it suitable for their growing family.
Of discussion. And of course, there's so much you could talk about with Frogmore. Obviously, it was the home that Queen Elizabeth II gave to Harry and Meghan for their wedding.
The cottage became closely associated with their brief period as working royals. But after stepping down from royal duties and relocating to California, the property gradually lost its purpose. Eventually, the couple were asked to vacate the residence. Now, reports suggest that various modifications made during the Sussex years are being altered or reversed as the property is adapted for different uses. To many observers, that development feels bigger than a simple renovation. It feels symbolic, almost as if one chapter of royal history is being carefully closed. And there is another detail that has fueled discussion. Prince Andrew was reportedly offered the possibility of moving into Frogmore Cottage during conversations surrounding his own housing arrangements. Yet according to multiple reports, he declined. That decision immediately raised eyebrows. If Frogmore was once considered suitable for a senior royal family member, why was there so little interest in occupying it? And why has the property remained such a sensitive subject? The answer may have less to do with the building itself and more to do with what it represents. For many people, Frogmore has become a symbol of Harry and Meghan's departure from royal life. It stands as a reminder of the split that continues to dominate headlines years later. But the story doesn't stop with real estate, because while discussions continue about Frogmore, attention has increasingly shifted toward Harry and Meghan's life in California. When the couple left Britain, they envisioned a future built on independence. They signed major media deals, launched charitable initiatives, and pursued a variety of business ventures. For a time, it appeared that everything was moving exactly according to plan. But recent reports have suggested that not every project has delivered the results many expected. Meghan's lifestyle brand has generated substantial publicity, yet like many new businesses, it faces the challenge of converting attention into long-term success. Launching a brand is one thing. Building a sustainable business is something entirely different. And in today's crowded marketplace, even famous names are no guarantee of success. Meanwhile, Harry has continued to focus on charitable work, public speaking, and various advocacy projects. Yet critics argue that neither Harry nor Meghan has fully established a post-royal identity capable of matching the influence they once enjoyed within the institution they left behind. Whether fair or not, that perception continues to follow them. And it raises an uncomfortable question. Did leaving the monarchy provide the freedom they wanted, or did it cost them more than they expected? That debate has become especially intense whenever Harry's relationship with Britain is discussed. Because despite everything that has happened, there are signs that Harry still feels a strong connection to his homeland. Britain remains the place where he grew up. It is where his family lives. It is where his mother, Princess Diana, is remembered. And it is where much of his personal history was written. Yet returning has become increasingly complicated. One of the biggest issues remains security. Harry has argued that adequate protection is necessary whenever he visits the UK. The dispute has led to legal battles and public debate. Supporters argue that security concerns are legitimate. Critics respond that Harry stepped away from royal duties and therefore should not receive the same arrangements as working royals. The disagreement reflects a larger question. What exactly is Harry's place within the monarchy today? He is still a prince. He is still the king's son. But he is no longer a working member of the royal family. That unusual position leaves him caught somewhere between insider and outsider. And nowhere is that tension more visible than in discussions about reconciliation. For years, rumors have circulated about potential efforts to repair relationships within the family. Some commentators believe King Charles would welcome a resolution. Others argue that the divisions remain far deeper than the public realizes. Every public appearance, every speech, and every reported interaction becomes fuel for fresh speculation. Are bridges being rebuilt? Or are they continuing to crumble? The answer remains unclear. What is clear is that Prince William's role in the future of the monarchy continues to grow. As heir to the throne, William represents the institution's next generation. And many royal observers believe his perspective will ultimately play a major role in determining how future relationships are managed. That reality makes any discussion of reconciliation far more complicated than simple family forgiveness. This is not just a family dispute. It is a constitutional institution with centuries of history behind it. Every decision carries consequences. Every gesture is scrutinized. Every meeting becomes a headline. Meanwhile, public opinion remains sharply divided. Some people believe Harry and Meghan were right to leave and pursue a life on their own terms. Others believe they damaged the institution while continuing to benefit from their royal connections. Both sides remain passionate. And after all these years, the arguments show no sign of disappearing. Which brings us back to Frogmore Cottage. On the surface, it is simply a house. A building. A property being renovated and repurposed. But in reality, it has become much more than that. It represents a chapter in one of the most dramatic royal stories of modern times. A chapter that began with a fairy tale wedding, continued with a shocking departure, and remains unfinished even today. Because despite the headlines, despite the documentaries, despite the interviews and public statements, the central question still hangs over everything. What comes next for Prince Harry? Will he remain permanently separated from the royal world he left behind? Will relationships eventually heal? Or will Frogmore Cottage become the lasting symbol of a break that can never truly be repaired? For now, nobody knows. But as the final traces of the Sussex era reportedly disappear from Frogmore, one thing seems certain. The story of Harry, Meghan, and the royal family is far from over.